Y'all, this show is diabolical. This is the wildest reality show I have ever came across, okay? Because you have four couples putting their love to the ultimate test, surrounded by temptation at every corner. The concept of this show is insane. And at first I wasn't going to buy into it, but I'm seeing that it's the most talked about show. It's basically everyone is talking about it everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, and I'm seeing all these videos and the drama unfolding, and I'm like, wait, I have literally no idea what is happening. I need to get into it. So guess what I did? I decided to watch Temptation Island, and yeah, let's get into this deep dive. Let's dive in. Let's dive right in. Welcome back to Deep Dives with Sali, where we uncover the most intriguing and complex stories in pop culture, current events, and everything in between. Today, y'all, we're going to take a deep dive into Netflix Temptation Island Season 1. We're going to break down each couple's journey, the temptations they faced, the drama that unfolded, and where they are now after the camera stopped rolling. So, if you haven't watched the season yet, I suggest you click out of this video. But if you have finished Temptation Island like I did recently and you want to join in on the conversation and chat, please keep watching, and don't forget to subscribe and get the conversation moving in the comments below. But we're gonna basically get into all the tea. Okay, the tea is piping hot, especially after like post show. There's just been a lot of drama unfolding after the show aired. So we're gonna also get into who stayed together, who moved on, and did the show actually help or hurt the relationships. Let's get into it. Before I even get into each of the couples, I want to talk about just like the behind the scenes of these reality shows like this, but more specifically Temptation Island, because I had watched Jessie Woo's video on. She recently did an interview with the black girls that were on the show, and y'all, if y'all have not watched Jessie Woo's interview with those girls, I suggest you watch that as well, because they drop a lot of like key information and just provide context as to what really happened on the scenes. And because a lot of these scenes are deleted, and producers just can't include every single thing in these shows, they provide a lot of information on what happened behind the scenes, what scenes were deleted, why they were reacting the way they did on the show. It's just a lot of information. And one thing I wanted to discuss is the fact that they low-key be living in poor living conditions. I know on the show it looks very picturesque, like the island they were on. The show was in Hawaii, by the way, but it looks like breathtakingly just beautiful. But then you hear their experiences of like how they were living. These girls were living on bunk beds with like bug infested bunk beds. The sheets had bugs everywhere. They had like most of their bathrooms, like I think it was like 12 girls on the show. They were all sharing one bathroom. That's insane. Like I can't even imagine just being all like bunched up in a room with 12 girls and only one bathroom, and there's bugs everywhere. It's insane.
Okay, and so what was sleeping arrangements?
Bunk beds.
Bunk beds. One room.
That was my face when I walked in, and I said, "Oh, yeah." Sharing one bathroom with how many girls?
Yeah, 12 bathroom, one toilet, one two
seats, no door. Little mirrors, so we could do like our makeup in our little mirrors. I actually wasn't mad about my bunk bed. I've been in a sorority before, so this is not new to me. And the bed was actually pretty comfy to me. I don't know.
The bed was so not comfortable.
So there's this one girl named Mia. In the interview with Jessie Woo, she talked about how everything was outdoors. The bathroom was outdoor, and they had one bathroom to share. There were literally bugs inside her suitcase, so she had to keep her suitcase outside so that she doesn't carry the bugs home with her. And then she talked about how like they were barely food. They had to like cook, and sometimes she would find something to make. She would actually be the one cooking. She mentioned that she was the only one cooking the most, but Courtney even mentioned that they even thought about cooking for the house, but the responsibility of cleaning and prepping and all of that will fall onto them, and then no one really wanted to take help or take that responsibility, so it was kind of hard to eat. And and I was like, damn, like they don't be feeding y'all on these shows, like what is happening? You would think because everything looks cute on the show that they're living lavish, but when you hear them talk about how they were living, how they were sleeping, it's crazy. And this is not the first time I'm hearing that the reality, like these co-stars, they don't really eat. Like even Love is Blind contestants come out and say that they be starving. They don't really eat much, and sometimes they have to wait to go to their personal hotels to actually like be able to do anything, not even just food wise, but they can't even access certain things. They can't go outside, they can't do certain things. It kind of feels like a lockdown. Let me just add that these girls are super gorgeous, okay, especially the black girlies. Okay, they really came to eat. They were drop dead gorgeous. But even Mia, she mentioned that the kitchen was kind of dirty. Like she didn't even, like she wanted to cook often, but it seemed like the dishes or like the area wasn't as clean. And even I think the Amaya, she mentioned that she had to keep washing her sheets because there were bugs literally all over. And I had also watched Kay's YouTube video, because she did a YouTube video pretty much explaining like her talking about her experience on the show, and she validated like what the girls were saying on Jessie Woo's interview. She basically said that there were ants, like a whole bunch of ants rolling on her like on her bed sheets. So that's why she was often seen going to sleep with Tyler, because he had air conditioner. Oh yeah, they didn't even have AC in those units, which is crazy. Only the singles they pretty much were equipped with everything they needed. They had ACs in their room, it was spacious, they had bathrooms, but the girls were all bunched up into one room, which is crazy to me. So apparently Temptation Island has been a thing for a while. This is my first time ever hearing of Temptation Island, maybe because it's on Netflix. I have never heard of Temptation Island prior to this Netflix show, but the show takes committed couples and separates them into two different villas. So the couples are coming in together, and the men are living in a villa with 12 different women, and same thing for the women. They're living in a separate villa with 12 different men, and these attractive singles' mission is to tempt them. And they have weekly bonfires, which pretty much reveal like what their partners have been up to. So they're they're basically being shown videos of different things that their partners are involved in, and this can often lead to heartbreak, jealousy, or shocking betrayals. All right, let's get into our first couple, Ashley Moore and Grant Larson. So a little bit of background: Ashley is a 28-year-old accountant and entrepreneur, and Grant is a 28-year-old business owner and founder of Amora Beachwear, and they've been in and on again and off again relationship for over a year. Their relationship was marred by trust issues stemming from Grant's past infidelity. Yes, so he's been basically been labeled a serial cheater by Ashley.
You're a serial cheater.
Gross. No, you know who fucked me up, bro? That Grant brother.
Yes, guys.
That Grant brother was like...
Then, guys, Grant, we go and we look, and guess what? Grant DMs me. He DM'd me and goes, I was just on Temptation Island. I hope I received the same love as you did.
We just spilling it. We just... the cup, we just spilling it.
And I'm just like...
Spilling it.
Received the love for what? Humiliating your family,
no, honestly,
friends, and
no, as in, like, we watched it, yeah? First off, oi, all of you man that are trying to text my girl, oi, buck out of there, bruv. Buck out of there, I beg you, because you ain't gonna do nothing. Stop. Anyways, as I was saying, yeah, Grant, how are you gonna do all that?
And then say, I hope
how are you gonna do all that? And then I hope I receive the same love. You are Actually, you know what? You slid in my girl's DM. You're a actual head.
The thing is, too, guys, I've been wanting to post the DM he sent me for so long now. I told Miguel every time I would see a clip of Grant speaking, I would be like, I have to post it. Like, he is
Wait, hold up. So you mean to tell me he also cheated on Natalie? Yes, we're gonna get into that post-show review, but it seems like he be hopping from girl to girl and just don't be caring. You just don't be caring. Basically, he was with he left the show with Natalie. He cheated on Natalie with Ashley, and then Ashley found out that he was with Natalie all this time, that he broke up with Natalie, and Natalie's now like, yeah, he's a cheater. Y'all know how the saying goes, you lose them how you got them. But I can't really say it's Natalie's karma, because she's on the show playing a specific role. In her mind, she's thinking they broke up. She doesn't know anything that's going on in the women's villa. She's just there doing what she's supposed to be doing. Come to find out, this man was DMing this girl, Leah, correct me if I'm wrong on her name, but she's from Love Island. I'm not sure which season, but he was found in her DMs, and her man's just like, nah, hold up, you're not about to be here DMing my girl, my wife, okay? And now I'm wondering if he DM'd her while he was in a relationship with Natalie. At this point, we know this man needs help.
Can you just say what happened after he left alone? I don't even think I spoke about that on this side, but I did on the other one. So after he left alone, he walked up off the final bonfire, and then he met me in the house, which I was sick because I looked so good, because usually we're getting ready in the house with no AC and it was super humid, but this time I had all day to get ready. I was in a hotel, it was super nice, air conditioned, and they didn't even air me. Bummer. And then we had a whole conversation because I knew that he was going to leave alone, but I was still open to like seeing him outside the island. And so then me, Grant, Kay, and Tyler, we all stayed in the hotel for like a week after all of this, or maybe 4 days, not a full week. And we like rode on Vespas, and we honestly had a great time. Just the four of us like re-entering real life and like having our phones and stuff. It was definitely an interesting transition. And then we went our separate ways. So I went back home to Arizona, and then he went back home to North Carolina and Florida. He like lives between the two. And then like a week or two maybe went by, not too long, because I went home to Oregon for a week. So yeah, it must have been closer to 2 weeks. He was like, oh, I'm going to Maryland on this work trip, like you have to come. And I was like, I don't know, because I mean, I knew he was messy. I just didn't realize the extent of how messy he was until later. And he ultimately ended up flying me out to Maryland and saying like, oh, we're gonna have a great time. And we did, which I feel like in my head was because we got really close and he knew like exactly what I was looking for in a relationship and like in a person. And so he was like, oh, I can be all these things for you, like all these check marks that I'm like, oh, this is what I want, in a person and in a relationship, like he was doing on this trip. And so this was my first time actually being with him outside the island, not in Hawaii. And I was like, wait, this is actually like a great time. And then we say our goodbyes. I'm about to board my flight. He chases me down in the airport, very extravagant, Grant style. We should be together. I'm ready to jump into this with you. Like, let's just be exclusive. Like, we're going through the same thing, like we had the best time. Like, let's just do it. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's just do it. We had a great time. That lasted about a month longer, maybe a little bit more. I'd have to check timelines, but it was distance anyway. So like he came out to Arizona to visit me once. I went to Florida one other time, I think. Yeah, because it was like Maryland, Florida, and then Arizona. So we saw each other like 3 times. And then he called me one day and was like, oh, I cheated on you with Ashley, essentially. And then I haven't talked to him since then. I was like, okay, I'll see you at the premiere. And that was 8 months ago about.
And on the show, Grant's commitment was tested early on when he kissed single contestant Natalie during a group date, which exacerbated Ashley's trust issues. So Ashley mentioned that she had already knew the relationship was over the minute Grant went into the villa. And that alone tells me that, okay, sis, why did you even come here in the first place, right? Because if you knew in your heart who this man was, then you already have your answer. You don't need to go on the show to know that this man is unfaithful. He's already been unfaithful to you in the past. So what was this show gonna do other than prove to you that he's the same guy and that he needs help?
You sit here and argue that you want to be a good man. Don't you think you could have come to the conclusion that you could not be faithful or loyal to me before I gave you the opportunity to come here?
No, sis, you need to put this on you. You could have came up to the conclusion on your own. Don't put this up on him. Yes, he has a lot to take accountability for, but I feel like, Ashley, you are just as responsible as he is. You could have came up to that conclusion on yourself to say, you know what, I don't need a show to come to the conclusion that you're not faithful, and you need to do some self-healing to be able to be in a relationship.
The objective of us coming here was for you to prove that I could trust you. And within a matter of days, you were telling multiple girls in the house that it's not working, we're not meant to be, and then railing some girl in the bathroom. I truly don't know what goes through your head. I have no idea what you're forgiving me for, because my actions were a reaction to your behavior.
Obviously, these people want to be on reality TV. I like Ashley, but at the same time, I'm just like, girl, you should have been broke up with this man. This is clearly a toxic relationship. It was a toxic relationship from the beginning. And post-show, after the show aired, Ashley and Grant attempted to reconcile, but ultimately split due to unresolved issues. Like, they already had come to that conclusion at the last bonfire that they're not going to work. Grant clearly needs therapy because his actions do not match his words. Like, he says one thing but then does the complete opposite. Like, you say you want to marry Ashley, but then in the next scenes you're in the shower with Natalie doing the do, and it's not matching up for me. As of now, both Ashley and Grant are single, and Grant has been literally going off a tangent. He's been crashing out online because Ashley has gained a lot of like fans, and she's kind of like a popular from the show. Like, people love Ashley, and because she's like basically just stood on business, and she's like, you know what, this is not the man for me, and I'm gonna do what I do. So she proceeded to continue a relationship with Danny, the guy that she connected with. But not only that, she connected with two men, so Danny and Logan, and those were like her two boyfriends on the show. And so she became like, you know, people just loved Ashley, and they just loved how she moved after seeing Grant and all of that. But my thing is, we're gonna get into Shante later, because I feel like Ashley did not get enough heat. She didn't get enough heat for going back to Grant, but Shante got a lot of heat for going back to Brian. But we're gonna get into that later. I feel like a huge part of Grant crashing out online post show is because there's this narrative that he feels like Ashley is pursuing. So Ashley's making a lot of TikToks of like, you know, just jokes about like how she left her toxic relationship. She has these two boyfriends now. She's driving. So that's hurting Grant, because he feels like that's his reputation is already like messed up. So he feels like Ashley is feeding into that narrative of him being a bad person, and he feels like he's a changed man. He did the work. He's no longer that person, and he doesn't want, and he's getting so much hate for it that it's killing him, that people still see him as that villain. They still see him as the man who's a serial cheater. Like, he has serious issues. So he was like, I don't know if you guys seen the reunion, the impromptu reunion with Nick Viall, but he was literally just talking in circle, justifying why he feels so angry with Ashley. And it's all about TikTok videos. Bro, like, you could just block her. Like, it's not that serious. Everybody make TikToks. If you see there's a lot of reality contestants, especially after Love is Blind, there's a lot of them that make TikToks, and they make jokes about literally like their role on the show. So him leaning onto the, oh, she continued to make TikToks about me, she's throwing shade. I just feel like that was corny. Like, just move on, you're grown. If you said that you did the work, then you should be able to move past it. And I know he used the excuse of like, oh, the reason why I'm mad is because we're still talking. Bro, you know this relationship is not going to work. It's toxic as hell. It doesn't make sense. Okay, now getting into Shanté Glover and Brion Whitley. I don't even know what to say. I have no words when it comes to this couple. I have absolutely no words, but I'm going to try to put together some words.
I mean, if this is like a PSA to people, for me, I will take the hate, and I understand I looked insane on the show, but if we can just, for me, it hurts to see Shanté going through what she's going through and the things that people are saying to her. So as a boyfriend, I would just if we could show a little more kindness, understand, you don't have all the answers and you don't know every reason behind everything we did, and you never will. But we respect the disagreement, but please just be a little more kind.
Now, Brion, if Shanté is receiving all of this hate, whose fault do you think it is? Like, be for real. Be for real. And by the way, that clip was from TikTok, but the original clip is from the podcast, from the Bonfire podcast, from the host. I think his name is Mark. But yeah, I didn't even know the host has a whole podcast out here. But it's great that he's interviewing the contestants, especially being that Netflix decided not to have a reunion. Some background on Shanté Glover and Brion Whitley is Shanté is a 29-year-old clinical healthcare worker and Pilates instructor, and Brion is a 26-year-old medical device and pharmaceutical sales representative, and they've been dating for a year. Their relationship faced challenges due to Brion's flirtatious nature and past indiscretions. So again, so on Jessie Woo's interview, they talked a lot about Brion's character, and the girls mentioned that a lot of what you see on TV is exactly who the type of person he is. So they were saying that the show portrayed him just as he is in person. And on the show, Brion's commitment was severely tested when he engaged in a threesome with two of the singles, Courtney and Alex, leading to emotional turmoil for Shanté. So despite this, they managed to reconcile by the end of the show, which confused the shit out of a lot of people, because people thought Shanté was gonna leave, but we didn't know that Shanté was too far gone. Listen, when I got to that last episode, that last bonfire of when they had to make a decision if they were going to leave together or not, I genuinely thought Shanté was going to leave. I thought she was going to say, I'm going to leave with Hashim. Is that his name? The guy that she connected with the most? I thought she was going to leave with Hashim. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Stand up. But then I thought about it for a very long time. And I'm like, it seems like Shanté does not have much of a support system. It seems like maybe she's the kind of person that does not have a lot of friends who can tell her who can guide her, right? Who can advise her. It doesn't seem like she has much to lean on. And the only person that she's been able to lean on is Brion. And so that caused like a super hard attachment. Like, she's so attached to this man that her social, her emotional being is like reliant, like her, like everything is dependent on this man. Her social life, her emotional state, everything is dependent on this man. And it's like when this is the first love, or maybe this guy's her first love, and if this is your first love and this is all you know, and you're so attached to this man, like, you are too far in. Like, it's gonna take some time for her. Like, it's gonna take time for her to do the work that she needs to do to be able to detach from a person like Brion. I also feel like she be emotionally detaching sometimes when it comes to Brion's actions. Because that scene where she, at the bonfire, where she watched the threesome video, she didn't really react much. Like, you could tell she was affected, but I thought she was gonna do it like a Montoya. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen that viral guy that seen his girl, that was watching his girl do the do with another man, and he he sprinted to the ocean and he was going crazy. I thought Shante was gonna react like that, but she just was like there, just like stone cold face. She didn't even like flinch. I'm like, whoa, like, what is this girl thinking? I'm like, are you gonna stay with this man? Like, what are you gonna do? So scary because she deserves so much better. Brion claims that he's a Christian man, and I loved how the girls were clocking him. Alex and Amaya were clocking him like nobody's business. Alexis, was it Alexis? Alexa or Alexis? No, was it Alexis? Correct me if I'm wrong. That girl that came in later in the show, that went on a date with Brion, and he was giving her a massage. She was just like, how can you claim you're a Christian man when everything you do, it goes against those principles, right? Everything you do goes against Christianity. He's like, oh, only God knows me, or whatever, something along the lines. I'm not really exactly sure what he said, but somebody also even mentioned that, yo, you claim this is what you want in a relationship. You want a good woman. You want somebody who's faithful, who's a godly woman, but you have that already. But you still continue to push the narrative that this is you are so freaky. You have this dark fantasy. It's like you want what you want, but at the same time, you're contradicting what you're saying. It's not adding up. So the girls were clocking him. I love how they weren't sitting there kicking with him. They were really putting him on the spot, because what are you doing? You have an amazing woman and you're playing her. And this girl, honestly, there's nothing nobody can say that can make Shante leave this man. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take time for her. She hasn't done the work yet. She hasn't done the healing work to be able to detach from this man. She's too deep in, and she made her decision. So it's like, what can you really? We can't really get mad from that. This is the choice that she made, and she's standing on it, and that's what it is. And they've remained together to this day. They're still together, and they're undergoing therapy to address their issues. They're even planning to move in together, and they have expressed intentions of starting a family in the future. So I can't really say too much about them, because yo, this is the man she chose. This is what she chose. This is the type of future she wants. As long as he continues to work on himself, hopefully there's hope for him, but I don't really have no words. I have no words. Let's get into Taylor and Tyler. A lot of people have been saying that Taylor gives Mean Girl, but I don't know. I like Taylor. I feel like she is very blunt. She keeps it straightforward. Like, she's very straightforward with how she thinks, and I love that about her. But Taylor is a 30-year-old health education specialist and personal trainer, and Tyler is a 27-year-old model. They've been dating for 2.5 years. Their relationship began shortly after Tyler ended a 6-year marriage, leading to questions about his readiness for commitment. Now, these two should have never been together in a relationship. They're two different people. They are not compatible. In Nick Viall's reunion video, Taylor mentioned that she's a Southern girl, so she believes in traditional gender roles, and Tyler talking about, like he goes with the flow, like he's a model, like he's a very specific way of like living, because he was living very rigidly in a 9-to-5 routine. But I'm like, okay, it's so clear that you guys are not, y'all weren't even supposed to like date in the first place. Like, how did y'all even come to be a couple? But on the show, the couple faced significant challenges, culminating in Tyler forming a connection with single contestant Kay. This led to Taylor deciding to leave the island alone, while Tyler chose to leave with Kay. So Taylor's one of those girls like Ashley. She saw what she saw. She's like, you know what? I know my worth, and I'm not going to be sitting here getting continue played with. So I'm going to go back at that house and find my connection. That is something that Shante should have been doing, but Shante is too far gone, so we can't even say nothing about her situation. But Taylor, however, just like Ashley, she's like, you know what, like, this ain't it, we were never meant to be, I'm just gonna move on. And we love that for her. But she connected with Yamen, and they instantly had a chemistry going on, and I think to this day they're like still like dating. I don't know, but they've been posting TikToks and they look very cozy together, so I don't know, they may be dating. But Tyler, yeah, like he's another one of those problematic. He was another problematic guy on the show, and I feel like he needs to work on himself. He's a relationship guy. He's the type of person that loves to be a boyfriend. Like he wants to have a girlfriend. He wants to continue to have a girlfriend. Like he's so dependent on having a girlfriend that he is not facing those unresolved trauma and issues that he's experienced from his marriage. Like you're jumping from relationship to relationship. You were in a 6-year marriage, dude. Be single for a while. Figure out your life situation. Figure out where do you want to be in life, because I do agree with Taylor, the fact that you got to have some plan at some point. You got to have some type of actionable plan for your life, and that's one of the things that differentiated them two, because Taylor's very stable. She has her house, she has a career, and Tyler's the opposite. He's just breezing through life like there's nothing. Like, bro, we can't, in this economy, you can't just be doing that. I kind of feel like this is one of the reasons why he vibed with Kay so much, because when I was watching one of Kay's TikTok videos, she talked about how her life is so similar to Tyler, how she doesn't have like a 9-to-5 career, like, but she's a OnlyFans model, and she's been able to just like take gigs here and there. Like she has like this like job where she doesn't have like a rigid structure, like a rigid routine. She makes her money in multiple different ways, and it doesn't really reflect like a stable typical 9-to-5 career lifestyle. But that is something that I feel like, okay, maybe that they too make sense. But yeah, personally, I feel like I can't see being with somebody that is just doing life and just breezing through life, just kind of winging it. I just feel like that's unstable just for me. But post-show status, Tyler and Kay's relationship was short-lived and they're no longer together. Taylor has been focusing on personal growth and is currently single. That's what she claims, but her and Yamen, I don't know. I've been seeing the TikTok videos and I see otherwise. But Kay, like I said earlier in this video, Kay dropped a whole hour yapping session video of her explaining everything. And on her video, she made it seem like she wasn't really like messing with Tyler like that. But I feel like she's capping. Like I feel like she makes it seem like maybe because they broke up and they didn't work out, she's trying to downplay the relationship. But girl, on that show, you was being cozy with him. You was sleeping in his bed every night. Don't come out here and try to act like Tyler wasn't really your type. You guys were connecting real bad. Yeah, we're kissing. I would do all of this other like touchy you So I felt like she was downplaying that relationship too much and try to throw shade at him. But you were with this guy and you were feeling him. All right, moving on to Alexa Santamaria and Lina Troisi. So Alexa is a 28-year-old labor and delivery travel nurse, and Lino, a 28-year-old personal trainer. They've been together for 3.5 years. Their relationship began with a mutual gym crush and evolved into a serious commitment. These people, I don't even know why they even came on the show in the first place, because I just think that they just needed like counseling. They didn't need to go on the show to prove, like, I don't know, to test each other, because it really pretty seemed like they were very serious about each other, especially how they were talking about each other. On the show, despite the challenges presented on the island, Alexa and Lino's relationship remained strong. Lino proposed to Alexa during the finale and she accepted it. And then post-show, the couple is now engaged and they're planning their future together, having successfully navigating the temptations of the island. People were calling out Lino for, I guess, like, they were calling him out for proposing to Alexa because of the fact that he didn't end up making any connections. None of the girls liked him. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about them. I just feel like they should never even came on the show. Like they were a waste of space, honestly, on that show. You didn't need to go on a show to figure out you guys were each other's love of each other's. You didn't need to go on the show to figure out that you guys were each other's soulmates. The crazy thing about it is that Netflix when it came to that scene with the threesome with Brion and Courtney and Alex, the fact that they aired all the sound effects, the sounds, and they are so messy for that. But I kind of have a feeling that Netflix knew that Brion was going to do that, and so that they kept the camera in his bedroom. I'm not sure what the situation is or the setup is when it comes to camera placement, but I have a feeling that the producers knew exactly what Brion was going to do that day, so they decided to keep the camera there to capture the sounds. But that was diabolical. That scene was crazy. I would never even expect to see something like that on national TV. But again, after that whole Montoya situation that happened, when he saw his girl doing a dude with another man, I was like, damn, like they be like, honestly, this makes good TV. It makes this entertaining. It's messy, it's diabolical, it's insane, like it's all of that. So of course they're gonna try to force these things in there, and not even force it, but they're going to make sure they capture every single thing, especially even the scene with Grant and Natalie in the shower. They're gonna make sure they capture everything. This is why they make sure, like, when they're leaving dates, they make sure they drive home separately so that they can capture those conversations. They don't want people to have conversations off camera. They don't want to even want them interacting off camera. They want to make sure that there's cameras everywhere so that they can capture the most messiest, craziest scenes. Temptation Island Season 1 is more than just reality TV. It's a deep dive into human nature, trust, and the reality of modern relationships. For some, it was a chance to prove their loyalty. For others, it was the ultimate wake-up call. What do you guys think? Is Temptation Island just messy entertainment, or does it really teach us something about love and commitment? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe for more deep dives. I'll see you guys next time.